So we have some more examples of grouping, and the procedure is the same, but sometimes the symbols are a little bit different, and so we have a different process. So I'll go through it with these two examples, and hopefully it'll get better. Remember, the goal to factoring is to get multiplication, stuff times stuff. Okay, so these next two examples are by grouping, factor by grouping, okay? So we have 4 terms in the first one. I'm going to draw the dotted line. Now notice where I draw that, kind of right between the second term and then that first symbol. Okay, and so I'm going to group these 2 terms together, take out the greatest common factor, which is x. Now when I look at the second 2 terms right here, I'm going to factor out a negative. It has to be a negative 5. Now, that sign right there tells you if you're going to pull out a negative or a positive. And since it's minus 5x, we're going to pull out then that negative 5. And then we're going to have left x. But now this sign's going to change to addition. And I'll go over that in a second. 2. Because I have to have negative 5x. That's the first term right there. And then I have to have a negative 10. So a negative 5 times 2 would be negative 10. If I left it negative, if I put x minus 2, that wouldn't work because then you'd have negative 5 times negative 2, which would be a positive 10. So it's like you factored out the negative sign. So you can go back to the video on factoring out a negative if that might help. Okay, but it's really important that we have that x plus 2 because we are hoping that that parenthesis and that parenthesis will be the same. And they are, yay, that means our grouping's working, okay? So now we're going to take out what they have the same, the x plus 2. And again, you can put the x plus 2 in the back if you prefer. I usually put it in front, but you don't have to. And then x minus 5. So where does the x minus 5 come from? It's what's left after you take out the apple or the pumpkin or whatever, the parenthesis that they had in common, okay? Or if you really want to write x minus 5 and then the x plus 2 back here. It doesn't really matter to me, either one. And you can multiply it out, check it with FOIL. I guess I should go over that just in case we're not familiar with the FOIL. I'll do another one here. But we're going first, so that's the f. X times x is x squared. Then we do O, those are the outer 2. Minus 5x, and we do I, those are the inner 2, plus 2x, and then we do L, which is negative 10 in this case. Now those are the same terms we started, the negative 5x and the 2x are backwards, but that's okay. All right, so we'll do another one, another example. So I'm going to take and put that dotted line, it's going to go right here, right after that second term. And I look at the first 2 terms and I say, what do they have in common? Looks like 4x. And factoring out 4x, that gives me 5x here, minus 4. Okay. Now we're going to look at the back 2 terms. I will be taking out a negative because that sign right after the dotted line is minus, and that means you're going to pull out a negative. So it's going to be a 3. They don't both have x, so it's just a 3. And then that's going to give me a 5x minus, the sign's going to change, 4. And again, you can check that. That's negative 15x, and that's positive 12. Okay, now the big key is, are the parentheses the same? Do you have the same apple? And you do. Okay, so that's great. So put the 5x minus 4, oops, didn't write that right. 5x minus 4. And then what happens, what do you have left? You have the 4x and the minus 3. And again, you can check that with FOIL. I'm getting 20x squared. I'm getting negative 15x. I'm getting a negative 16x. And I'm getting a positive 12. And that's the same. So this is the check. Okay, good luck with these. It'll really help you later on if you can get that group factor by grouping process down. So practice them.